We all get a little homesick sometimes. It's past mid-semester and not another break in sight to the holidays. The thought of it can get you down. But I'm the cook, and I'm here to get you up. In spirit, that is. I hope. Anyway, the best way to shake the homesick bug is to make comfort food. And not just any comfort food, but the kind of food that reminds you of home. Like something your grandma or your mom would make. I'm the cook, this is FU, and it's all about the home-style favorites. Today on FU, we're going to be making spaghetti and mini meatballs and loaded baked potato. Both are based off of classic recipes like Mom's famous spaghetti and meatballs and dear old Grandma's savory baked potatoes. But my mom is a vegan, and my grandma sticks to a strict diet of tub gin and ice cream. So I'm going to be going off of a little inspiration and what people have told me in the past. So wish me luck. For the mini meatballs, take a half a pound of ground chuck and add a fourth a teaspoon of thyme, oregano, smoked paprika, pepper, and cumin. Then add a teaspoon of salt. Combine together gently using your fingertips, making sure not to mash the meat into a paste. Measure out rounded teaspoons of meat and roll them into balls. Remember, they're mini meatballs, so make sure they're just about the size of a marble, maybe a little bit bigger. Bring a pot of water to a boil and drop the meatballs in, making sure they're separated. Cook for 5 minutes. When the meatballs are done, sit them out and set them aside using a slotted spoon. While we let these cuties finish up, let's turn things over to the professor to talk about a history of meatballs. There's nothing I can do to make that sound interesting.
Many different cultures have their own types of meatballs, from Vietnam to Afghanistan to Sweden, all with slightly different recipes. Not only is the meatball tasty, but it is also ancient, with some recipes dating back to the old-timey Roman cookbook Ep.6. There are some even older, I'm sure, but I simply am too lazy to do the research. The kind that the cook is making today is closely related to the kind found in the Abruzzo region of Italy, where meatballs are the size of marbles and are called pampatine. However, they're made a completely different way. I feel that the cook is simply being lazy, for who has ever heard of boiling a meatball? Poor form.
Hey, Professor! How are the meatballs in Italian wedding soup made?
Well, you make it by boiling the meatballs in water or chicken broth. You're still lazy though. But enough about that. Did you know that I was the first man to ever use nipple as a verb? For example, hey bro, I saw you down at the docks nippling with Terry, the new guy from the sports bar. Cool.
Now that your meatballs are done, you might look at your greasy cooking water and think about just throwing it out. Don't you dare! What are you gonna do with all this beefy goodness? We still have pasta to cook. So, here's how you make pasta. Take your pasta, drop it in, cook till al dente. Today, we're gonna be using whole grain pasta. It's nutty in flavor and packed with fiber. And trust me, with all the meat and grease in this recipe, you're gonna need the extra fiber. I did. Anyway, now let's turn things over to the trainer so she can tell us all about whole grains.
Whole grain foods are processed from the whole seed of the grain, and they deliver about the same balance of nutrients from the original seed. There's not just one type of whole grain, though. There are a number of them, such as barley, oats, rice, corn, rye, and wheat. Just to name a few. Not only are these great grains packed with fiber to help keep you full and manage your weight, but they're also really great at lowering your cholesterol. That's it!
Okay, that was interesting and enlightening. Not a norm for this show. Anyway, I'll take what I can get. This pasta is about 1 minute away from being al dente, so we're just gonna take it off the heat and let it chill out for while we make the sauce. Let's do it. In a frying pan, heat a tablespoon of olive oil on medium heat. Add 2 cloves of minced garlic and add 1 cup of diced tomato. Saute until the tomato is slightly limp. Add a half a can of crushed tomatoes and add a half a teaspoon of oregano. Bring the sauce to a simmer and then salt and pepper to taste. Add the meatballs and simmer for another 2 minutes, just enough to reheat the meatballs through. Take your pasta, take your sauce and your cute meatballs, and eat it. How hard is that? That step should be pretty easy to eat eat it stuff, so I'm gonna do that. Alright, here we go. Succulent meatball, savory sauce, nutty pasta. I mean, after all, you can go home to get a meal like this, but it's way easier to make it yourself. And you don't even have to spend the gas money or the family time getting it. So, I'm the cook. This is Dorm Safe Food University. F you.
Weren't you gonna make a baked potato?
Shut up!
You know, enough of this. If anybody asks for me, I went nibbling.
Don't tell me how to eat. Oh, that's really hot.